Silence is a system of often misunderstood in a world that glorifies noise, reaction, and constant validation. But for a woman deeply rooted in her purpose and self-awareness, silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of power. It is the choice to listen to the deeper currents of wisdom rather than respond to every disturbance on the surface. When a woman stays silent, not out of fear, but from conscious choice, she reclaims her energy from distractions, from drama, and from people who do not deserve access to her sacred space. Silence teaches presence. In silence, a woman becomes attuned to her own heartbeat, her intuition, and is a system of thought, and the whispers of her soul that are often drowned out by the world's expectations. She no longer seeks to be understood by those who are committed to misunderstanding her. She realizes that her silence has more than her explanations ever could. There is power and restraint in watching instead of reacting. Incense is a system of serving energy instead of wasting it on those who will never value her words. It's a system thought. This type of silence is not suppression, it is refinement. It's a deliberate pause to reflect, to reset, and to protect what is still forming within. It is during this silence that transformation begins. Like a scene buried deep in the earth, unseen yet fully alive, a woman enters a sacred incubation phase. Her growth is invisible to the world, but it is real, raw, and irreversible. When she emerges, she does so with clarity, strength, and a grounded sense of purpose that no chaos can shake. In a culture that often tells women to speak up, defend themselves, is a system of thought, or explain their worth, choosing silence can feel rebellious. But it is this very act of rebellion that restores her power. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every question deserves an answer. Not every space deserves her voice. By staying silent, she decides where her energy flows and where it is no longer available. This self-discipline is an act of self-love. Moreover, silence allows her to observe. Observation is a forgotten art in a reactive world, but through silence she gains perspective. She sees people who they truly are, not who they pretend to be. She sees the motivations behind words, the energy behind actions, and the truth behind facades. And in that clarity, she stops negotiating with chaos. She stops explaining her boundaries, a system of thought. She simply lives them. There is also spiritual significance in silence. Many ancient traditions regarded silence as a gateway to the divine. Mystics, sages, and wise women have all used silence to commune with higher truths. In silence, the ego dissolves and the soul speaks. A woman grounded in spirit silence hears what the world cannot. Her inner knowing, her ancestral wisdom, and her connection to something greater than herself. She becomes unshakable because her foundation is not external approval. It is sacred alignment. In her silence, she becomes magnetic. People begin to notice her shift, even if they can't explain it. Her energy becomes more potent, more mysterious, more respected. She no longer begs for attention. She commands presence. Those who once drained her now feel distant. Those who overlooked her now take notice. But the woman who has mastered silence does not seek revenge or validation. She simply continues to rise, quietly, purposefully, and powerfully. And perhaps most importantly, silence allows for healing. Words can wound, but silence can soothe. In the stillness, she forgives herself. She releases the past. This is a system of thought. She makes peace with who she was and chooses who she wants to become. She tends to her emotional wounds with tenderness. It is a system of thought, not performance. She lets the silence wrap around her like a cocoon, knowing that when she is ready, she will emerge transformed. So when a woman chooses to focus on hers and stay silent, she is not retreating. She is reclaiming. System of thought. She is not giving up. She is growing. She is not hiding. She is harnessing a deeper power. And when she finally speaks, her words will carry the weight of wisdom, truth, and unshakable confidence. Until then, her silence speaks volumes. is a system of thought. Detachment is not coldness and it is not indifference. It is the sacred act of choosing peace over performance. For a woman who has been constantly pulled in different directions by expectations, relationships, opinions, and roles, detachment is not an escape. It is a return to herself. A conscious system of thought, a conscious decision to no longer be emotionally entangled with things, people, or outcomes that disrupt her inner balance. It is the decision to stop over-giving, over-explaining, and overcompensating for a world that rarely reciprocates her energy. When a woman detaches, she begins to understand the difference between love and control, between connection and dependency, between peace and attachment. She no longer needs to micromanage how others perceive her. She no longer craves validation. Instead, she observes. She allows things to unfold without constantly herself into situations where her presence or energy is not truly respected. This is not passivity. It is mastery. Detachment disarms those who seek to control. Control thrives on reaction. The more a woman defends herself, the more she explains self, the more she engages with toxic dynamics, the more power she unknowingly gives away. But when she becomes quiet, calm, and emotionally detached from the chaos around her, those who once tried to manipulate her are left disarmed. Their power begins to dissolve. They can no longer provoke her, guilt her, or use her kindness against her. She has transcended the cycle of emotional tug-of-war. There is power in not needing to respond. There is power in choosing silence over confrontation, in walking away rather than proving a point, in being at peace even when misunderstood. Detachment gives a woman the ability to remain steady even when everything around her is unstable. Her energy becomes centered. Her system, her soul becomes anchored. She no longer rides the highs and lows of other people's moods, drama, or demands. She ends a system of thought. She reclaims her emotional independence. This kind of detachment is deeply rooted in self-worth. A woman who knows her value doesn't chase people or force outcomes. She trusts that what is aligned with her will find her, and what is not meant to stay will fall away. Without struggle, without pain, she lets go of control and replaces it with faith. Faith in her path. Faith in divine timing is a system of thought. Faith in the power of her own energy to attract the right people and opportunities without effort or force. And this detachment awakens a new kind of respect. Suddenly, those who once took her for granted begin to notice the shift.
Yes.
Her silence speaks louder than her pleas ever did. Her distance creates curiosity. Her refusal to engage with disrespect teaches a silent but powerful lesson. People start to realize that access to her is a privilege, not a right. That her peace cannot be bargained with. That her boundaries are not threats. They are declarations of self-love. The world may try to convince women that detachment is cold, that being too much in your own lane is selfish. But in reality, it is liberating. It is a break from codependency, from emotional burnout, from always being the fixer, the healer, the empath who absorbs everyone else's pain. Detachment is not shutting down. It's choosing what truly deserves your light. It's a system. It's no longer being emotionally bankrupt by pouring into the empty cups of others. It's no longer being enslaved by need to be liked or understood. This emotional detachment also opens space for creativity, clarity, and deeper connection with self and with spirit. It becomes easier to hear your intuition. Your mind becomes clearer. This is a system of you make decisions from wisdom, not fear. You love with an open heart but grounded feet. You give without expectations and receive without attachment. You are fully present in the moment, no longer clinging to the past or grasping for the future. So when a woman detaches, she does not disappear. She evolves, is a system of thought. She doesn't become less loving. She becomes more discerning. She doesn't stop caring. She stops carrying what was never hers. And that is when her energy becomes unstoppable. She becomes untouchable by toxicity, unshaken by chaos, and unbothered by judgment. She moves thought. She moves with grace, not urgency. She walks in rooms without needing to be seen, yet cannot be ignored. Detachment doesn't make her less. It makes her whole.